Hey, Peter.
Hey Patrick, how's it going?
Not too bad. How about yourself?
Well, I'm okay. It's another wonderful coronavirus weekend.
Indeed. But we will transport ourselves back in time to the mess that is Croatia and the Croatian region in the year of our Lord, 1075.
I was gonna say I'm not sure this is a step up. This things are looking pretty grim,
Yeah,
and
they are looking pretty grim. Because last time we recorded, things went quite poorly.
they did, especially our pronunciation, which once again I want to call out. We're gonna say everything wrong here.
Oh yeah, there's no way we can win. But as far as I remember, and I think my memory is pretty good here, we had a situation where we controlled all of Croatia, as you can see, which is now a smaller Croatia, Slavonia, and these four independent provinces. And we made a bad judgment call, which is that we declared war on a neighboring province, Dukša,
I
before
actually looked up how to pronounce that one. It's, I believe, and again I'm probably messing it up, Duklia.
Dukja. Excellent. We declared war on Dukja without accounting for the fact that we were about to have a civil war. And
And
then
even before the Civil War, it wasn't going great,
it
if I'm
wasn't going
honest.
great. I made the mistake of not bringing siege weapons to a siege. That's not always that's always kind of a downside. And additionally, I got a little gung ho and I declared war a little bit too early without smoothing things over in Croatia. And now instead of the king, King Stepan, my nephew, I am but a prince.
Prince Kresimir.
Yes, the fourth.
You still are called the Great, so that's nice.
Yes, not too bad. However, all is not lost, even though we're no longer in command of the throne, and we're deeply in debt from the war reparations we had to pay Dukja. Uh, there are a number of things we can do. We're going to expand today into these independent provinces that were created when the throne of Croatia was overthrown. We're going to get ourselves out of debt, and hopefully, if all things go correctly, we're going to ascend to the throne again, because King Stefan has committed a very serious blunder, which is he's made us, the person who he dethroned, his spymaster.
I really would love to know Stepyan's logic here, that he deposes us and immediately puts us in this position of unreasonable power. And you were saying that being Spymaster gives us easier access to make our plots work.
Oh, it gives us nearly 100% chances of things going right. You'll notice that over here in our intrigue plot to murder King Stepan, we have a 95% chance of success and a 95% chance of secrecy. We can see this breaking down in that I am Stepan's spymaster, which gives me plus 75, and I have plus 17 intrigue. So it's just, he has no chance of not getting murdered. Well, he can technically, but it won't go well.
It's good odds.
Yes, good odds. 19 and 20 odds. So as you can see, we're still in debt from our wars. We have negative 93 gold. So that's going to be the first thing that we focus on. We have an extra lifestyle perk here. We can take things such as Taxman, cutting cornerstones, which does what it sounds like. Cutting cornerstones, which makes building a little bit easier buildings a little bit cheaper to cost, to buy even. And we've got Hergeld, which gives us some vassal taxes, War Profiteer, which gives us more money while we're at war, and It is my domain, which allows us to extort money from our subjects. I think that we're going to start with Taxman just to make collecting taxes a little bit better. That gives us a slight boost to our monthly income of 5.5 gold. But as you can see, we're going to have to wait like a year-ish to get out of debt here.
No, we are still prosecuting a war right now, or is the war over?
The war is over. I have surrendered in the war against Dukša, and I lost the war against Croatia. Now let's make sure that we're all, we've got our best spymaster, we've got our best people on the case. We want a good Spymaster, and we've got one guy who's in average intrigue. That'll be okay for us. There's no one really better. Marshall is fine. We've got some really talented guests at Marshall, but I don't plan to declare all-out war for a while, so that's fine. We've got Count Strezhna in our Chancellor position, and he's attending to foreign affairs, which is good because the various provinces around us are so fragmented. Got our steward collecting taxes. He's pretty talented, and our bishop is just kind of chilling.
And we have no control over who we have as bishop. Generally.
Yes, generally. In certain religions, you can appoint bishops, but since we're Catholic, bishops are responsibility of the Pope.
Before we get into this, I do want to acknowledge we had a question from one of our listeners, one of our viewers, which was, you had made an offhand comment that most of the religions are real, but there are a few joke ones.
I was wrong.
This person asked, what are the joke ones?
Turns out there are no joke ones. The ones that I thought was a joke, atomism, which is a nudist subset of Christianity, was actually in the 2nd century briefly a thing. It was essentially nudist Christianity, and it was soon stamped out. But turns out it's a real thing. However, it is not contemporaneous with these, the year 1075. So it's more of an amusing religion than a serious faith. However, it was not invented. It was a real thing. So that's pretty cool.
We're going to get angry comments from the atomists in the audience now.
We love you, nudists. So I also have a claim on this. I'm not even going to take, I'm just going to say he's Averchier, and it's because I got nothing here. So we're going to take that, I think, when we have some more soldiers under our belt. They only have 400 soldiers, and we have a maximum of 1289, so that should be pretty good. And we will be able to declare war. We can't declare war right now because we're in debt. So let's get out of debt. We can wait always and just get some money going on. However, I'm going to do my favorite thing, which is to visit the Bank of Byzantium and bribe and spy on every Byzantine noble and blackmail them. And that, 1 or 2 blackmails will get us completely out of debt. So let's fast forward, and we're kind of gonna watch and see things unfold. I am now the dynasty head of the family, which is not too bad. I'm the most prestigious member, even though I'm not the king.
Regarding blackmail, does distance to the place you're digging for secrets have anything to do with the effectiveness of it?
No, there is a maximum limit, diplomatic limit. Like I can't communicate with people like, up. Oh, we got a bunch of notifications. Up in the High Chiefdom of Lanakash in northern Siberia. However, I can communicate with the Byzantine Empire, and they there will be no change to the actual effectiveness of my diplomacy. So we got 2 events here. One is that the diseased body of a commoner, skin marred by rashes and bumps, has been brought into my court. Anyone who comes into contact with the corpse risks infection. And I was planning an outing that will take me close to Philadelphia, the holding of Du Leon of Thrakeshion. I could launch it towards Philadelphia, which would make somebody at his court perhaps contract a disease and make Duke Leon into my rival. However, that would give me some stress because I'm calm, so I'm not really going to do that. The body might contain clues to the disease's origin, which gives us 10% chance of contracting the disease, but also gives us a bonus to learning for 5 years. Whereas he will have a dignified burial is the easy way out. And because I don't want anything more to go wrong than it already has, I'm just going to give him a dignified burial.
I encountered this event during a war when I had no physician because I'm a dope. And if you don't have a good physician, I believe that third option still carries a chance that you will catch a disease. And that was how Duke Robert the Fox's entire kingdom fell to ruins when I was playing.
I don't remember exactly what disease that was. I don't remember if it was the plague. The plague is a real problem, just as it was IRL. Now we have a free tenant renting some of my land in Paganeja. Has pulled in an exceptional harvest this season due to his meticulous planning. He wishes to use some of his profits to purchase a piece of my estate for me, so he can build on his success and grow more crops next year. I'm all about this. It'll give us 50 gold, which will get us almost all the way out of debt, and we will get a slightly lower level of control, which we can adjust for, but we will get independent farmlands, which gives us a bit more growth. So this has downsides, but has more upsides than it has downsides. So give me that 50 gold. Okay, here we go. This is part of our intrigue plot.
Kresimir
stands before me, a servant of the loathsome King Stepan. Now I want you to do something for me, and you will, of course, be reasonably compensated. We could choose whispered words can topple the king, keep the doors of the castle open to me, or never mind, run back to your master. Now, if we weren't at 95 and 95, these would matter a lot more, but right now we don't have anything that will actually improve the chances of getting the plot to be successful. So we're just going to tell him to run back to his master.
And we spent money to do that.
Yeah, it's weird. I don't know why, but just 2 gold.
Just to keep him quiet, I guess.
Comet sighted. I've never seen this one before. Let's see. The appearance of a comet in the heavens causes all mortals to pause. What could this strange apparition mean, wandering across our skies so unexpectedly? Wiser men than I have spent their lifetimes pondering less, but every uppity peasant in Croatia seems to have their own ill-thought theory.
Your very jumpy leader here is going to be unhappy no matter what.
Yes.
What choice you make.
We can have, there's this too shall pass, which is 50%. The comet panics innumerable subjects, which will gain us 60 stress, which is a huge amount of stress. Or the comet terrifies many troublemakers, which will lose 44 stress. We also have, O comet, O harbinger of divine justice, or the end is nigh, repent. And these are all from our different traits.
They're all coin flips, oh my lord.
Yes, they're all coin flips, because we're calm, just, and zealous. So this, I think, is just an opportunity to role play. So I think because I want to claim back my whole empire or kingdom, I'm going to choose, O comet, O harbinger of divine justice. And we'll hope that we don't get 60 stress. We do have 35 stress, which will not, so if this does break bad, we won't go into the next stress level, but it'll be fine either way. So hopefully we win this coin flip.
I have 2 bookkeeping questions. Oh no.
It's okay. We'll figure this out. What are your bookkeeping questions?
My bookkeeping questions are, when do we need to remember to build siege weapons? And since you have a free scheme for, what's it called? The persuasion scheme? The sway scheme. Is there anyone we need to be swaying to keep our house in order while we prepare?
Those are 2 excellent questions. Let's see if we cannot raise men-at-arms yet because we need another 60 gold for an initial investment. But we will definitely do that, and thank you for reminding me even. And I don't think there's anyone we need to sway yet. I mean, my wife could be a bigger fan of me, so I guess we can sway her. It won't.
We don't have any factions going on or anything like that.
And we are gay, so there will sort of be a rift in the loot there. But we do have an heir who's growing up. She is sickly. She's still ill. But she seems to be pulling through, at least thus far, which isn't bad. And so now we need to, I have some chance, I can take some decisions that will lower some stress. We'll need a lot more gold to either host a feast or call a hunt. So our need for gold has become even more precipitous. Okay, so
some of those decisions are very disturbing.
yes, we can take our own life, which is not ideal. I don't know why you would want to do that. I guess if you were a total failure of a leader, and you had a great heir, you could do that to kind of grease the wheels. But I don't know why you would do that. We're gonna keep finding secrets because I know there are more secrets. There's got to be. Let's see. And I saw that we can demand payments from some people. It's because I am the house head, so I can. I have a weak hook on a bunch of people. So
oh my goodness, we can blackmail Stepan?
Yes, because I am the head of the house, and so he does have to respect me. So I'm going to demand payment from him. I'm going to demand payment from Duke Nikephoros, who we do have a blackmail reason out on. I also have one on Ban Radovan. I'm going to take that as well. And count these other counts who are both like underage, don't have enough gold.
You hold on to those?
Yes. So now we have a lot more money than we do. We're straight out of debt and well into the black.
Just to ask, does demanding payment, if it doesn't say this person will lose respect for you, like does Stepan hate us now because we used our hook?
No.
Or no?
If you acquire a hook via underhanded means like blackmail, they will dislike you and you grow closer to forming a rivalry. However, the house head hook is just a natural part of this patriarchal culture. So
I mean, I just got to say, like, if I have to give you blackmail me into giving you 50 gold coins, I'm going to hold a grudge.
Man, it's just like I'm your dad. I'm your dad, and you need to give me money because I'm your dad. Okay, cool. Our wife is pregnant. That's cool. So we have we'll have another heir, not just this sickly 11-year-old. And we have enough money to host some feasts or call some hunts. So I'm going to call a hunt, which lets us gives us an opportunity to lose 33 stress. Well, that's guaranteed loss of stress, and we may get opportunities to increase our prestige. So let's do that. Cost us 60-ish gold, but we're down to 62 stress out of 100, which isn't bad. So we'll get some events.
So you get, that's interesting that you get the stress relief just from immediately calling the hunt. You know,
yes, and if the hunt goes well, we might lose some extra stress, but it'll go either way. So we have another. We have an event here that's because we're tutoring our daughter, and that my niece Maria was attempting to preach among her fellow youngsters and became the target of a small fight. And my daughter Neda was furious that anyone could target someone attempting to speak on behalf of the Lord, and chased away the other children. We could give her
coughing the entire way because
yes,
she's sickly.
Ill. We could give her brave instead of zealous, which is brave is a really good trait, but chances there's a not inconsiderable chance that she will not be our heir if I have a male child here. And we could give her calm instead, but both of these would give us 30 stress, and I want to keep the stress down. And zealous is a pretty good trait overall. It gives you plus martial, plus piety. I don't think it's worth the stress bump that we'd have to take. My court physician, Danail, is the first to see it. The flighty hair is hard to distinguish from its surroundings, but it is observing us through the undergrowth. I lock eyes with the animal, and it is almost as if it can sense my intention, for it suddenly takes off. So we're gonna continue on with that. We follow the hare on its flight through the ravine, and suddenly Danail's horse loses its footing and sends him to the ground screaming. It is nothing fatal, but the man is twisting in pain. We could stop here and help him and give him plus 30 opinion of us, but we could also press on and give us some more prestige. Does he like us? He likes us well enough, so we're going to press on and gain a little bit of prestige.
That's very accurate role playing for a prince, I think.
Yes. I know that it is a killing shot before the arrow even finds its target. As the hare stumbles and falls, we drown out its wails with shouts of victory. A good kill and a good chase. The hunt is drawing to an end. In spite of our difficulties, the hunt went very well, so we gain 150 prestige. And no extra stress loss, but we're going to take care of that.
That's a lot of prestige for shooting a rabbit.
We want to take, you really want to take hunts and feasts kind of as often as you can. So here we go. A little nervous here because this'll...
Because with our luck...
Yes. My agents have prepared for weeks. The cook has been bribed to look the other way. The poison has been acquired, and the duck was gifted to King Stepan alone. Will be rubbed with the poison, and the bed of herbs will mask the smell as it is served. The deadly bitterness will be the last thing my target ever tastes. Bon appetit, Stepan.
Poison is king.
All right, cross your fingers. The poison did its job, and King Stepan is no more. Even better, in his death throes, a bone got stuck in King Stepan's throat. Now it is unclear exactly what killed him at all. It must have been something he ate.
So I feel like we should review now that Stepan has been removed. We are not yet king again.
Correct.
Let's review the situation and then maybe, just take a moment to kind of like checkpoint where we are for everyone who's been watching.
Yes. So we are now the first in line to the throne behind this 3-year-old King Tvrtko of Croatia, whose father was the unfortunate Stepan, who it says here died under suspicious circumstances at age 38. That's weird. I wonder who could have done that.
Yeah, so he must have been something he ate.
Yes. And let's see. We have
now. Are we still on his council?
We are. I believe he is about to appoint us to his council, and so if he makes us the Spymaster, then we'll be able to knock off this 3-year-old, which is an unpleasant kind of task to have to undergo. But I play this game to win, and if we gotta have the 3-year-old meet another unfortunate accident, then we do what we have to. So we have now an event that I don't like very much because it costs a whole ton of money and doesn't give us a huge amount. My treasury is brimming with gold and silver. I don't particularly think it is, and all expenses are cared for. As a wealthy lord, I am expected to offer patronage to some kind of artist or scholar. 3 potential candidates have arrived. Zvonimir is known for growing beautiful gardens. Matej's religious poetry has moved many souls, where the discoveries made by Ladislav show promise. You could also choose, no, I have other plans for that money, and we would gain 10 stress because we're zealous. I don't know whether that's the right thing to do. I think because I still have I think I'm going to make some other plans for that money. And I think what those other plans are is I'm going to declare war on...
Hold it.
Yep.
Hold it. We have not built siege equipment.
We haven't built siege equipment. You're absolutely right. Let's do that.
I feel like that's my contribution to
done it.
To this war.
So we'll build some mangonels, and we'll also build ourselves a unit of light footmen. And this mechanic, the men-at-arms mechanic, deserves a bit of discussion. It's new in Crusader Kings 3. It was not present in CK2. And what it is that it's basically an army that we control. When we say men-at-arms, the thing that springs into my mind is like bodyguards, but more of them. But that's not the case here. Men-at-arms is your own personal army, in contrast with the levies, who are... soldiers culled from our both our lands and the lands of our what's the word I'm looking for? Our vassals. Men-at-arms are trained soldiers who are very good at battle, and it really behooves you to have on your side. However,
right.
Go on.
Right, I want to interrupt. So this is different from CK2. In CK2, they drew this distinction. They drew a similar distinction where you could call up your own personal levies, and then you could separately call your vassals' levies. Here what they've done is they've collapsed all the levies into this one call up the levies, but then also giving you now this new mechanic of specific unit types.
Yes.
Is that correct?
And these unit types have kind of a rock, paper, scissors thing about them. If we look, we could see that the Koni, light cavalry of Eastern Europe, counter archers and have high damage in plains, plains and dry lands, but not so good in hills and mountains because they're cavalry. And then if we looked at the archers and bowmen, we'll see that they counter skirmishers, who are lightly armed and skilled in harassing the enemy. That would be something like pikemen. Pikemen counter light and heavy cavalry. Armored footmen counter spearmen. So it's a multi-axis rock, paper, scissors game. A well-balanced, a good men-at-arms setup is well-balanced and lets you, you'll have spearmen, you'll have skirmishers, you'll have bowmen, you'll have siege equipment, etc.
And how long does it take? So they're starting with just a few soldiers. How long does it take for these units to reinforce up to their full strength?
They'll reinforce a bit, but in order to keep up with military demands, you're going to need to increase their size, which both costs an initial investment of money and increases the cost of maintenance. You'll notice that my monthly income has dropped from 5.5 gold a month to 4.7. This is because men-at-arms, even if they're not raised like standard levies are expensive to keep up. And so one of the main, especially when you get up to a large empire, one of the main things that you have to keep in mind is to constantly keep investing in your men-at-arms, keep increasing the size so that you have a sufficient sized and trained army to actually kind of conquer where you need, while without over-investing in men-at-arms and driving down your monthly income too much. So it's a balancing act between economic power and military power. So now we are a lot lower on gold than I thought we were. So our plans to invade this neighboring county are to be on hold, which I think is perfectly fine because we need to drive down this stress a little. I'm not a big fan of it. So we can't call a hunt for some time because it doesn't just let you call hunts over and over and over again, which is sensible. So our next option, our best option would be to host a feast. So we need 100 gold for that. So we'll need to find some gold here and there. But we will get our stress down. And I believe feasts lower stress a bit more than do hunts.
We can now demand a payment of the new king.
Yes, give me your gold, 3-year-old.
It's expensive to, be the head of a family with a king.
Exactly. I'm running around murdering all these kings. Like how am I supposed to get by unless I shake down this 3-year-old for money?
It's just science.
Let's see, and I want to make sure that I have my court physician. We've got our men-at-arms who are building up. Ideally, if we weren't trying to kind of claw back the empire that we had, we would be investing in our towns a bit more. But I think 5 gold a month is not too bad of a monthly income for where we're at in the game. So now I think we're just going to focus on gaining some gold. And perfect. The king has put us on the council as Spymaster. This 3-year-old.
These 3-year-olds, they just don't learn.
Okay, so we can't do it just now because we are just. We can't just murder a 3-year-old here and there. So we're going to
critical here means you would go above a stress level.
Yes, I don't think we've discussed stress levels. There's stress levels are happen at each kind of 100 level. Your maximum stress is 300. At 100, 200, and 300, you'll get an event. And these stress level events generally give you a couple options for negative traits to acquire. You could get drunkard or like isolationist or reclusive, or if you play in the Muslim world, you can get smokes too much weed. I forget exactly what the title is called, but it's like hashashin or something. It's not hashashin, that would be assassin, but you just smoke too much weed all the time. And those negative traits are, well, negative, but they give you an extra decision in the decisions tab, which will let you lose some stress. So depending on whether you find it easy or hard to lose stress, you might want to take these negative penalties. But you can also say like, all right, I'm just going to take a whole bunch of extra stress, and then you have 3 years before you get another one of these events, these mental breaks. And so it's kind of a gambling thing to see whether you either get to take a negative personality trait and you get some further advantages in that you get an initial big stress loss, and then you get another action that lets you lose stress, or you can avoid the negative penalties, but you have to make sure that you get your stress down in time.
And unlike Dread, stress does not increase or decay in any particular direction without an event.
Exactly.
Stress only moves because there's some action that moved it.
Yes. And stress is a new mechanic in CK3, and I think it's absolutely one of the best mechanics they've introduced, because it actually makes you roll. It gives you a in-game incentive to role play as your character. Because I'm just calm and zealous, like the actions I take are going to be informed by this. Because if I just, acted as though I were, the evil, manipulative person that I am when I play this game, I would do poorly. I would have way more mental breaks than I otherwise do. So I think this is a superb addition, and it really encourages like the best part of CK3, which is watching these stories unfold. And
the game really encourages role playing in a way that Europa Universalis or Hearts of Iron do not.
Yes,
although those are fine games, right?
Yes. So we have another daughter. Praise Saint Bridget. Miroslava has given birth to a perfect little daughter, and we have Natasha, our new daughter. So that's not, again, it's not too bad. A son would immediately take over as player heir from Neda. But, as long as we have some filial redundancy, to coin a phrase, we're going to be fine. So we have some interesting stuff, which is that a faction targeting us has disbanded. We have a secret uncovered. This guy, a guest of Prince Michael, is a non-believer, but he has no money, so we can't blackmail him. We have another perk to unlock, which is pretty good. I think we're going to take Hergeld, which gives us a plus 10% to our vassal tax. So we're at maximum speed here. We're cruising through October and November. We're at
now. What are we? We're at this point waiting for enough money to feel comfortable warring on Zvarzhde?
No, we want to host another feast so that we drive down this.
The stress, right?
Yes. So we will start a feast in Katina, one of our counties. This may increase our vassals and our liege's opinion of us. It won't increase our liege's opinion of us because our liege is 3 years old and should not be going to feasts anyway. And we have a guaranteed stress loss of 33. Often in contrast to hunts, where usually the events happening during a hunt will increase your prestige, feasting will often give you a bit more opportunity to decrease your stress. So we have a feast going on. We can actually see who's invited to the feast here. We got my sister, Princess Sisa, Count Budech, my steward and knight, Count Strezhnya, our chancellor, and Ban Miroslava, our wife.
The evil blackguard.
Yes. The guests are gathered in the great hall, lords and ladies from the near and far reaches of the realm. The mood is bright and spirits are high as the feast begins. This is a marvelous feast, says Count Budech. All my compliments to the host, and we have an option here. We can either take credit for the hard work that our wife did. Yes, I have done a great job, haven't I? Which gives us plus 150 prestige and makes our wife unhappy with us. Or we can get Miroslava deserves all credit, which gives us household efforts, which...
that's pretty nice.
Yes, and she likes us. So I never choose. I have done a great job here because the second one is just so much, it has no downsides.
Prestige also seems like there's plenty of it. I have found myself without prestige on occasion after prosecuting war after war after war, but it's pretty rare.
Yes, prestige is pretty easy to increase with hunts, and you need it so much less than you need your vassals to be happy with you, or you need gold.
Money.
Money is the most important thing. So I'd say in the top right here, like we see the resources go in decreasing order of importance. Gold is the most important. Prestige is the next one. And unless you're playing certain types of characters, piety is the least important. So Miroslava, take the credit. You'll like us. Oh, interesting.
My departed wife, Miroslava.
Wait, did she just die?
She literally just died.
She literally just died.
She dropped out of a heart attack. You complimented her, and she said, "Oh, I can't believe this happened."
Wow, that is fascinating. And yeah, so that's super interesting. Okay, so
and it was your Spymaster who murdered her.
Yes.
Perhaps at this very feast.
Yes, here we go. As I stumble outside to relieve myself, I hear shouting outside around the corner. As I turn it, I see my Spymaster, Mayor Ulfo, sneer as he sinks his blade into the face of the cowering Ban Miroslava. Whatever sound I made must have been enough, for Ulfo turns towards me, surprise on his face. What have you done? Everyone will know of your crime.
Unlike carefully taking notes, do not stab 3-year-old in face at feast.
Yes. So we will, everyone will know of his crime because we're going to arrest him and torture him to drive up our dread and imprison him. We have 100% chance of imprisoning him because he murdered our wife. He will lose 30 opinion of us, and that's okay because he murdered our wife. I would have been really pissed if he had murdered her when she was pregnant, because then I would have lost out on my filial redundancy.
Sure.
So, take this, Mayor Ulfo, and we're going to torture you to drive up our dread. Our dread currently stands at, let's see, where are we? We're...
Oh my God.
Red zero dread.
You just lost stress.
I did.
Because is it because your character is gay?
Yes. Well, I've seen various screens here. Like, if you're not in love and you don't like each other very much, then you get this kind of stress loss. It's like, oh, well, didn't like you very much.
So it's not directly connected to sexual orientation. It's just that you and your wife were not close.
Yes. If we were best friends, then it would be a big stress. It would be a big stress gain. If we were soulmates, which is the highest degree of intimacy that you can possibly have with your spouse, then it's like you gain like 95 stress. It's really devastating.
This feast is really working out for you pretty well.
Yes. However, we need to find a new wife. I need a new wife.
This is the most sexist game.
It's very bad.
It's really, yeah.
So we need another wife, and we're going to have her be the best she can at stewardship. And we have a 40-year-old here named Bithild, who is a Catholic Saxon, who has the homely trait. She doesn't look too bad to me. I think she's perfectly nice looking. However, the homely trait is inheritable, and we don't want to inherit it. So let's see. We got some Saxons here. We got some Greek and Polish and Russian. There's no one here with the huge amount of interesting things that I want. Let's see if there's anybody with some inheritable traits. We've got Hélène, who is fecund. Is that the word? Fecund? Fecund.
Mm-hmm.
That makes her fruitful and fertile. She is
that
diligent.
And that might be important for you because you're intrinsically, because of your orientation, you're, as we said in the last episode, being gay certainly does not prevent you from having kids in this game, but I think it does reduce the chances that you're going to produce issue. Is that correct?
Yes,
or
absolutely. So let's go with the with Hélène, who is 29, so she has a few more childbearing years in her. She is lowborn, so I will pay a prestige hit, and she will gain a huge amount. Her character will gain a huge amount of prestige for it, because the Prince Kresimir just swooped in and was like, "Hey, want to be my wife?" Let's do it. So, children of this marriage will be born into our house. We have a high chance of children. We lose 300 prestige. She gains 800 prestige, and that'll be just fine for us. As per my orders, Mayor Ulfo is now confined to his home. Posted some of my guards to ensure that he is compliant with a house arrest. Well, Mayor Ulfo, you're not going to be in your home. We're going to move you to the dungeon. Mayor Ulfo is now thrown in the dungeon, lowering his health and angering his close family. And here, like this doesn't have a huge. I mean, it does have an effect.
If he were a duke or a count with relatives who were your other vassals, that might be important.
Yes, but notice that because I guess he's a very minor character, he doesn't have any notable siblings, or the game just hasn't filled in his parents or grandparents because he is a lowborn.
I gotta interrupt again.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think there is a story here? In other words, was there a narrative between Mayor Ulfo and I'm going to be honest, I've already forgotten our dead wife's name that caused this? Or do you think it was literally like, well, there's a feast and we rolled a random die and this event came up on the event table, so he stabs her in the face? I
think because his personality is evil antagonist, he probably, like, the AI was like, you need to be kind of an evil guy. He does have intricate web weaver, and now he is known as a murderer, which makes everybody have a minus 15 penalty to to liking him. He's also club-footed.
There's a real Richard II vibe about this guy.
Exactly. He's cursed with twisted feet and an unsightly walk. And he won't be doing much walking now that he's in this dungeon. So yeah, this is like the dungeon part is really mostly a role-playing aspect. Though I tend to keep, if I have like vassal, it does have a pretty significant penalty to health, but we're going to torture this guy to drive up our dread, so this will not hugely matter in the long run. He probably won't make it. You can't keep torturing people over and over again. I think there's like 2 or 3 years you have to wait, so he probably won't make it, but we'll see.
He did stab someone in the face at a feast.
Yes, my wife. And so you'll notice that he no longer wears fancy clothes. He's now wearing the rags of the dungeon. And we will now choose to torture him. We will gain 35 stress because we are just.
I don't know if that's worth it, dude.
I don't know if it's worth it. We gain 36 dread, though. That's so much dread, and I know,
but you just did all this effort, spent all this money to lose all this stress.
Yeah, I can torture him later, of course.
Yeah, your vassals right now. I'm gonna role play this, right? You are the deposed king, out of power. The time to turn up your dread is after you take the throne back.
I think that's
right now. You need people to stay in your corner while you weave your intricate web.
I think that's very fair. So let's keep him in the dungeon for a while. If he kicks the bucket, then that's his fault. His health is poor. He is in the dungeon, and he is a known criminal. which allows us to punish him without being viewed as a tyrant. We can imprison, banish, or execute him. If we banished him, we would gain his lands. However, because he only is a mayor, and you can't run cities directly, it wouldn't really be worth it.
And you can execute him and gain 18 dread and no stress.
Yes, I would, however, like to get up to 50 dread, because then I could torture and then execute him. So Elaine has showed up. Von Elaine, may St. Bridget bless our union. We'll make sure that she's working on managing the domain. Because
I'm still so angry. I'm so angry about that pull down. I'm so angry about that UI. I've been playing this game since it was released, and I never realized that I needed to set that this up.
Should make it a lot easier. And so now that we've taken this person with excellent stewardship and told her to manage our domain limit has gone up significantly. We can have 2 extra holdings. This is all academic, of course, because we're still in the process of kind of getting our feet back under us. But here's an amusing kind of glitch, which is that because we remarried during the feast, the game thinks that
shows up at the feast.
Oh, my wife, she did a really great job at this feast. Well, you got married like 6 hours ago, dude, because somebody got killed.
It's kind of like a Peanuts situation where Schroeder has a closet full of Beethoven heads and extra pianos for when Lucy destroys one. Elaine was just waiting in the wings during the feast.
Let's see. And does she like us? She's kind of a fan of us. We could. I don't know. We will not become lovers because I am gay. However, we will sway her just so she likes us. We do have to find a new Spymaster now, and this is a bit frustrating because there's nobody with high intrigue. The best we can is this guy Herman, who is just visiting our court, and we would have to pay 10 gold to him. However, I think it's worth it, especially because we want to get money from the Byzantine Empire. So we'll pay that, and we'll recruit him. Greetings, my sensible liege. I invite you to a feast at my court in Jadar. It will be a grand affair, worthy of your honorable presence. Now, I am going to take this. However, it's not always good just to take every feast opportunity that your vassals offer. They will continue to offer you feasts because they want to say that my liege is at my feast and he's super cool. But the more you party, the more of a reveler you become, which is one of the traits. You can be an eager reveler, profound reveler, or a legendary reveler. Which
I did not realize that.
Yes, they gain you some good things and some bad things. Like if you have the reveler trait, you can't do kind of chaste and temperate actions all that much. So in this case, I am going to take it because this will lower my stress to 0, and then we'll be able to torture and execute this murderous Spymaster of ours and drive up our dread a bit. So we'll take this. Yes.
I have another bookkeeping question. We lost control in one of your counties by 20 when we sold that land to the very good peasant. Do we need our marshal to increase control, or does that not really matter?
I think that's an excellent idea. Well, at least, right now he's just kind of chilling, so let's see. Yeah, we have slightly less control here, and if we wait
and
for
control, the effects of lowered control, it goes directly to taxes, correct?
Yes, taxes, and if your control is too low, then you'll have a peasant revolt. Peasant revolts aren't too much of a problem if you have any sort of army, because they are peasants and untrained. However, if you're fighting like a war on 1 or perhaps even 2 fronts, and your peasants revolt, then it's a pretty bad sitch. So marshal increase control, and let's see, we'll see some events happen. Okay, I don't believe that there aren't any, maybe there aren't any secrets that we haven't uncovered. So let's take this Spymaster back, and instead of going to Byzantium, we're going to go to the Holy Roman Empire, which is also a source of decadence and profligacy. So we're going to do that, and hopefully we get some more. All right, so Ban Alen is pregnant. We love it. We might get a son here. Building up gold month by month. Neda seemed to enjoy our latest feast immensely. She got along quite well with everyone she spoke to, even the adult guests. And so this is an opportunity for us to modify the trait gregarious. We could get greedy for 30 stress or lustful for 30 stress. The lustful is, I saw how you looked at that servant, Neda. But I think we'll keep, it never hurts to make friends, which is a really good personality trait. So continuing on building, should get some events from the feast, I think. I want this guy, my Spymaster, to keep looking in Kaiser Heinrich's court. Keep looking. Aha, we have a son here. Praise St. Bridget, Helene has given birth to a perfect little son. One day, child, you will carry on my legacy. What name would befit a Van? Theodore, I love that name. May you grow to be strong and wise, my son. And we will educate him as well. We'll educate him. You can have 2 wards at any given time, so we don't have to unward Neda. She'll be fine. How's King Tvertko going? He's up to the tender age of 5. We are still his primary heir. And this is pretty nice because this means we have kind of 7 or 8.
I was going to say our timeline here is we want to make sure he's dead before he's about 16?
Yes.
When he comes of age?
Yes, and then he could get married and have some offspring, which would not be ideal. I have become ill.
And he might also, I mean, it's entirely possible that he would die. It's the year 1078. Bad things happen all the time in this game.
It's true. Bad things, including me being ill. Van or peasant, high or low, it does not matter. In the end, we are all mortals. I was reminded of this as I woke coughing in the early morning hours, a dull ache pounding through my head and throat. Our court physician is on hand and will help us, but we'll tell him to do no more than what is necessary. This is known as a safe treatment. It might lessen symptoms temporarily and has few risks. We could also choose, it is too late for caution, which is riskier. We could also say, just leave me be. But we'll do no more than is necessary. In my experience, like these kind of low-level colds that you get, colds and coughs, are almost always remedied by a safe treatment. This is really nasty.
Oh, don't read that out loud, please.
Okay, it's really yucky. This is gross. He eats like a charred carcass of a cat, and I don't want to read that out. It's gross. In the end, the fatty food turned out to be just what I needed. For now, the worst of my symptoms are alleviated, and the world seems a little brighter. Jeez Louise. But at least now we are ill, but we have reduced disease symptoms, so our health overall is classified as fine. Continuing onward. Interesting here. Moved by my tribulations, Count Svezna has offered me his counsel and aid on many occasions, hoping to alleviate the burden of my duties. However, Svezna's attentions have incurred the ire of this mayor. He cannot be trusted. This is merely a ploy to exploit you, my liege.
Svezna is our Spymaster, right?
He is our chancellor.
Oh, our chancellor, okay.
Now, he's a zealous lackey, personality-wise, which means, like, I don't necessarily believe that he's trying to kill us. He doesn't have like traits like, sadistic or generally unpleasant.
Or ambitious.
Ambitious would be a big warning sign. He's generous, zealous, and fickle. So we have 3 options, all of which, interestingly enough, will remove some stress. We can place my trust in those who deserve it, which makes Count Strezna, our friend, and Mayor Ludwig, our rival, and loses us 28 stress. We have we can take heed of his warning. We can try to find common ground, which is unlikely because we're not great at diplomacy. Or we can do an intrigue challenge and try to goad these two vassals into fighting each other. Now, I don't know what the best thing here to do is, because this guy is kind of useless. But I think having my Chancellor being a friend is pretty good. We get a hook on him. This guy becomes our rival, and we lose all of our ambient stress. So even though I don't love that this mayor is going to be our rival, it could be worse. If he was a duke or something, then I definitely wouldn't make him my rival, because that would be kind of introducing an element of danger into the proceedings. So because we can't really find, it's unlikely that we can find common ground, or we can go to the vassals into fighting each other. And because taking this would
lose dread.
Yeah, I think we're at 0 dread, so it doesn't really matter. But having a friend is good, so I'm going to go with this. And now that we've got a favor hook on him, which is pretty good. We could ask him to give us money. He has enough money, yeah. Give me more money. Cool. We have a lot more money now.
So are we ready to invade Zvarje? Yeah.
I believe we are. All right. So now there are 2 things that are still on our plate. We can start a plot against the king, and if it succeeds, then we'll become the king again. And we can also start a war, or whatever that is. I think out of a sense of prudence, I'd like to be the king before I start reconquering these counties. Or even if I become the king, I may not even need to reconquer them.
Well, that was going to be my question, is if you want these counties, right?
I do.
mean, you would rather have these counties personally. And so my question was, if you become king, does that frustrate your ability to war on them? Because they'll be part of some dukedom.
Actually, no, because I can still, I still have a claim on it, and I could exercise that and revoke his title without being seen as a tyrant. So okay. I think what I'm going to go for is, let's see what the chances of succeeding here. We are pretty good. We have a 71% chance of success, which could be increased by bringing on a collaborator. And we have an 86% chance of secrecy. I think I'm going to take it. We did just gain 35 stress because we're just.
You could also have your Spymaster help with this scheme, right?
Yes. That's an excellent point. We're going to tell him to support schemes. And we're also, let's see, we're up to 82% chance of success. We're also going to invite one person to help us out. Torgeir of Shetland, if we give him a bribe of 55 gold, will assist us in the... and so now we're up to 95-95, which is where we want to be.
When you invite people to your schemes, are the attributes of those people important? Like, are some of them more or less likely to blab about it?
I don't know. I have noticed that if I invite like 7 or 8 people to a scheme at a time, the scheme tends to be revealed, which is never good. We have a choice here. The woman in charge of cleaning the clothes of King Tverko is brought to me. No one will notice her tampering with the clothes, and if something distracted for the guards could be planted. We could put a poison in here, or distract, I guess. I want you to grind rose hips really fine. Or we can cut holes in their clothes in improper areas. As per the last time, we are at maximum chance of success. But and I don't want to spend 50 gold on kind of something that it's not really going to change a huge amount for us. So we're just going to kind of cut holes in this guy's clothes.
So I actually have a question about that. I think that when it says murder scheme gains progress, what it's actually talking about is, if you look at that bar,
Yeah,
I think it's saying that it's basically reducing the amount of time that this is going to happen. That said, we have lots of time.
We have lots of time. So yeah, we're going to continue on. Let's see. Mayor Ulfo wants to get out of prison. He will not be doing. We could take 30 gold from him. We will not be doing that because he murdered my wife. You're just going to have to sit and wait. Cool, we're no longer ill. As I woke this morning and saw rays of sunshine falling through my window, it took me a moment to realize I had slept soundly for the first time in weeks. I did not wake up coughing once. Pretty cool overall.
The plan.
Yes. When the time comes, my agents will need a safe escape route out of King Tverko's castle, should anything go wrong. A detailed map of the local plains with all its hidden paths and caves would be an invaluable resource. We could pay a hunter, which would gain us some benefits to the scheme. We could explore the plains ourselves, which has a chance to give us some stress, but also gets us has a 60% chance just to give us the said bonus. But again, we're at 95. I don't want to upset the apple cart even a little bit, so we're just going to abandon the idea here. King Tverko's knight Mihalo is a guileless man, and when I find him in his company, I'm first wary. However, I soon realize he is not as averse to my company as I first thought. I could choose to be a wolf in sheep's clothing, closing in on my quarry, forming a friendship with Mihalo, and gaining the attribute close to a courtier. And again, I want to be really conservative here because I really don't want the scheme to go poorly. And as such, this guy who wants to be a friend, he's just gonna have to live.
Fascinated by the name Tverko.
It's interesting. I think it might be. No, I don't know what it would be. I thought it might have been a derivative of Theodore, something. But we have a son named Theodore. All right, here we go. Torgeir is preparing a special trip for young King Tverko, and the child trusts he will be brought on an enjoyable day in the forest.
Oh, it will be enjoyable.
He will unfortunately get lost and be impossible to find before nightfall. He was so young, too. A child lost in the forest. It happens tragically often. Murdering a child. Are you sure about this? Yes, we are. All right, cross our fingers. Here we go. Alrighty. King Tverko is dead. A search went long into the night before it was called off and reconvened at dawn. It was only then the body was found, bloodied, mangled, and torn apart after an attack by some vicious, hungry beast. At least I hope it was a beast's doing. Thankfully, everyone agrees it is a terrible tragedy, and my involvement in the existence of any scheme remains unknown.
Oh, the kingdom has gone through so much tragedy recently. Mm-hmm. So how much stress did we gain from this?
40 stress. And they say children are the future. Well, now we are back to being the king. I love it. And it only took 2 murders.
I mean, it's very educational. I played this game for a while, including, I'm kind of wrapping CK2 into this as well. And I always approach the game as a combat simulator, where I'm trying to take over county by county or duchy by duchy. And only with CK3 have I really learned to appreciate the power of schemes. I have expanded my reach in games I've played much more by simply killing the right people versus marshaling huge armies to fight. Let me ask this question. We've been at this for about an hour. In our last episode, we lost a kingdom through war. And now we have barely regained that kingdom through intrigue. Is this a good place to say, this is where we're going to stop for now? And
I
then
think so.
Next week we'll pick it up?
Let's tie up a few loose ends. Something I noticed happening just now is that the Byzantine Empire took the Duchy of Duksha, which is not good. I really wanted to expand into that duchy. This means that as far as our opportunities for expanding and acquiring some territory, we're gonna have to cross the Adriatic. We could take Capua, which is independent. We could take Salerno, which is still independent. Duke Robert the Fox is still over here, scowling, looking. He's wounded, so he's really not looking good at all. Here we got another event, and this event always makes me really sad. And there's no. Here we go. There's no. Am I able to? No. We're about to gain a stress level, so this will be a fun note to end on. Bloodstained cloth, crow's feathers, and strange-smelling concoctions. The evidence presented to me by a group of villagers from Chetina, the proof that Milman has been practicing sorcery in his hut on the outskirts of their village. The villagers claim his evil works must be the cause of their bad weather, and are calling for his execution. This guy is pretty cool. He's a genius, which means he has +5 to every single skill. But he is spindly, which makes his legs be long and knobbly. And he is also a lunatic, plagued by hallucinations, delusions, and disorganized thoughts. Milman struggles to distinguish between what is real and what is not. And if you see these three choices, they all give us stress. And furthermore, they all give us enough stress to go into a mental break. So we could say that the evidence is circumstantial. We release him, which would upset the peasants, but gain us some more stewardship lifestyle experience. We could say that he must burn for his crimes against God, but that would not be just, so we're going to gain 35 stress. We will, however, gain satisfied peasants. Or we could take him as an advisor, which would cost us piety, give us 60 stress, and piss off the peasantry for 5 years. Because the option of burning him has the fewest downsides, I tend to choose this, even though as a human being, it very much bums me out to make this choice every single time.
Mm-hmm.
But let's see what happens to our mental break. Gained a stress level. We've been overwhelmed by stress. Lately, it feels like I am constantly being distracted by lascivious thoughts and erotic fantasies. With all the hardships of my everyday life, it is all too easy to lose myself in daydreams and forget about reality. These desires are clearly interfering with my life, but what should I do about them? We could sequester ourselves to avoid temptation, which would gain us the trait reclusive.
We'd lose our friend.
We would lose diplomacy and stewardship. However, we would lose more stress. I think, that is actually incorrect. This would make every stress losing event be 20% more effective. We could convert to Paulishianism, which is a variant of Christianity that rejects the divinity of Christ and viewing the veneration of the cross as heathenish. Paulicians aim to restore what they believe to be the true form of Christianity as laid out by Paul of Tarsus. Or we can bite our lip and try to stay focused, which would, if we are still stressed in 5 years, we would suffer another mental break. I think I'm going to bite our lip and try to stay focused, because it's only another additional 25 stress, and once we gain the ability to hunt and do another feast, we will lose more than that.
It's really funny how much my roleplay differs from what I think one should do. Like in real life, I'd be like, no, you have to process these feelings, right? And here I'm like, yeah, I guess just try and hold down the fort.
There's even, if your lover or soulmate or one of your children dies and you gain a mental break because of it, the mental break is themed around the loss of your this confidant or loved one, and the event and the choices are all related to that. And if you choose I'm going to defer this, then you gain the attribute frozen grief, which is like literally the description is like you have not processed the grief from losing a dear loved one and like you're still fucked up over it.
Now, let's be clear. This wanton desires, this is a trait. You have gotten this trait. It's this decision is not about avoiding the consequences of this trait. You just got it. Is that correct?
No, we haven't gotten any traits yet. This is just an opportunity for us to either gain more stress and try to deal with that, or we can gain the trait reclusive.
I see. Okay.
If there are other choices, which is like, I just need to visit a brothel a ton, and I would probably choose that if it were an option. So that would give us like the lascivious trait or something, but the dice roll here have not been kind to me. So we gain 25 stress here. When we come back next time, we're going to need to take care of that. To see if there are any last things that we can take care of. We can demand some payments on some hooks. We have a ton of gold now, 358 gold. I don't quite know why we have so much gold. I think, that's because I inherited all the gold from
Sweet.
the king. And that includes the gold of the dearly departed King Stepan. So we have a ton of gold now. And I really wish that the Byzantines hadn't taken that county. I so wanted that county. Around us, we see the Holy Roman Empire, which would annihilate us, the Byzantine Empire, which would annihilate us, and Hungary, which would also annihilate us. So we're going to have to expand south.
Yeah, and I really enjoy this little trip down into dukedom. Really shows how the game is always progressing on multiple levels.
Absolutely.
Right? As a king, you kind of lose sight of the fact that all of your vassals underneath you are warring with each other and intriguing against each other and trying to accomplish things. And so we kind of got a really good close-up look of that this week.
Absolutely, we did. And the most important thing about Crusader Kings, which is that even though it's immensely frustrating, try to resist the temptation to rage quit. Because the most fun things, I think we had a really fun time today. The fun thing is to lose it all and then gain it back.
As we have done.
We're going to, before you sign off here, we're going to make sure that we have to appoint a new council because we've just reascended to the throne. We've got Count Streshna, who's our friend. He's the best chancellor we could get. We've got Count Budech, who really wants a seat on the council, and he's very good at stewardship, so he's going to be that too. We've got this guy who's pretty useless overall, so we're going to give him the marshal, this other guy, the marshal position. And I haven't decided who I want for the Spymaster yet. It's a question because this countess really wants to be on the council, but she's got intrigue, and she does have interesting traits like lustful and impatient. We do have Count Radoslav, who is calm and patient. He's awful at intrigue, though, but he, too, wants a seat on the council because he's a powerful vassal and he won't be happy with us. So I'm going to defer that decision to next time. Other things we need to note is that we have the Liberty faction, who wants lower crown authority. We might have to acquiesce to their needs. Oh, here we go. Nada's tutelage is at an end. An avid learner, she has become quite the purveyor of knowledge and has proven herself fully capable of structuring advanced theoretical and theological arguments. It's pretty cool. She gains a trait, astute intellectual, which is very good. Gives her +6 to learning. So we're going to have to probably next time acquiesce to these people's desires because I don't have Though we might be able to bribe our way out of this because this guy, this Count Boudet, who we like a lot, is providing almost half of their military power. But now, and as our last item here, we're gonna torture. Oh wait, no, we're we don't want to gain stress there, so let's just execute this guy who murdered our wife, and we'll gain some dread, and that'll be the last thing we do today. Take that, Mayor Ulfo.
Thanks for watching, everyone.
Take care.